And the thing is, that's the hot thing right now. We see on television, we have a lot of interracial relationships on television. That's the thing. We have the Chloe and Lamar show. We got my brother Ice-T and Coco. We got the Kendra show with the black guy. I can't think. He's some athlete. This is what we see with Kim Kardashian. She's with a new brother every week. But this is the new thing. We see black men and white women in functional relationships. And when you see something over and over again, there's a message that's being sent there. We have to understand that. When we see something that's pushed in our faces over and over, there's a message to that. Because see, back in the day, they wouldn't dare show that. But now they show that all the time. We see black men and white women and also black women and white men in functional relationships. But you notice you never see functional black relationships in the media or on television. You rarely see that. Think about this. On television, what functional black relationship do you see where there's a black man and there's a black woman having a functional relationship? When do you see that? Where do you see that? Whenever you see black relationships on television, they're dysfunctional. And there are not too many shows with black couples on there. The only one I can think of, there's a show, I think it's on Oxygen, with this girl who was on the Bad Girls Club. Her name was Tanisha. So they have this show where Tanisha gets married and they have her and she has a black man. But this show is nothing but a big-ass stereotype. Tanisha is a fat, overweight black woman, loud, ghetto, perfect stereotype, normal stereotype that we're all used to. But when it comes to black relationships, it's always the dysfunction there, and that's a reason why they do it. See, functional black relationships will have functional black children. Dysfunctional black relationships will have dysfunctional black children. If you keep showing that black men and black women cannot get along with each other, that will affect children. Promoting dysfunctional relationships as if it's normal. You see, we get that. We get the bullshit promoted and thrown down our throats as if it's normal. And this is what they do now. The way white supremacy works now is that they target the children. They're targeting black children. They're getting into the minds of black children because when you get them young, they will do all the self-destruction on their own. You don't have to control them when they get older. They will self-destruct and bring everything down themselves. There was a study recently, and you guys can look this up. You guys can Google this. There was a study that says that out of all the children who watch television, white kids, white male children in particular, have high self-esteem from watching television, and black children get low self-esteem from watching television. Now, I want you guys to pause this show if you're listening to the playback and Google what I just said. This is a study that came out, I think, about a week ago. Now, when you look at television, you don't need a study to understand why white children will have a higher self-esteem, because if you look at television, everything about them is fly. And black children, of course they're going to have low self-esteem if everything about you is fucked up and dysfunctional. Everything. They're playing on the minds of these kids out here. And the thing, let's look at sports, even sports. Sports, we're not exempt with sports. Because a lot of black children, their heroes are athletes. So there's a certain image that athletes have to portray, that they're creating now with athletes. Athletes have always been idols in the black community, especially with young black youths. So they're definitely working on that image. If you notice, when you watch games, I remember watching Laker games, and while Kobe was playing, they would always cut the camera to Vanessa Bryant when he was married to Vanessa Bryant. I don't know if they're still married or not, but when Kobe was playing, they would always cut the camera to Vanessa. Even to this day, when Lamar Odom is playing, they'll cut the camera to Khloe Kardashian. Also, when a lot of athletes play they'll cut the camera to their white wives, but you never see black athletes playing football or basketball and them cutting the camera to a black wife. Now, many of these brothers do have black wives. Let's not get it twisted. A lot of these guys, they still do have black wives. Some of them do. But they never show them. They never cut the camera to the black wives doing the game. Now, with the white players, they do that. They'll show the white wife in the skybox or wherever on the court side or wherever. But with black athletes, what they'll do, they'll show their mother, especially if it's a single mother. They love to show a black athlete's single mother jumping around yelling. They love that. Because, again, that's promoting dysfunction. And here's the trick. When they finally do decide to show the wives of black athletes, they'll show their ex-wives and ex-girlfriends and ex-baby mamas and put them all on one show and have them jumping around on tables, fighting, throwing bottles at each other, acting a goddamn fool. And they'll show season after season after season of this. And then you wonder why black children have low self-esteem when they watch television.
First of all, our people are completely brainwashed and immersed in the media. So if we look back at the movie Colors, when it was put out in the 1980s, that sparked an epidemic of gangs across the country. Look at New Jack City. Look at Boys in the Hood. Look at Menace to Society. And then look at our communities, and we can look back at our communities and trace the cultural pulse or the mindset of our people and see us acclimating towards these images. The other aspect of that is that a war was declared on our people when they declared the war on drugs. It was really a war on black people in America. So you take the man out of the household, you put him in jail, you put the woman on welfare, and then you create a systematic cipher, if you will, that keeps the man from being able to go into the home and still be responsible, be it financially, be it spiritually, economically, etc. So somebody has to fill that void. You got men in prison who are turning into homosexuals, whether by force or by choice. Then they come out into the community and try to resume a regular life. That's really not going to happen. You have sisters who are in households by themselves, who have children, who are weak, who are vulnerable, who are alone, who need companionship. It's been a systematic process, and they've been hitting our people at every different angle. And then we can't forget diet. We can't forget fluoride in the water. We can't forget all of these different hormones and things that are in the milk and that are in the meat and that are in the food. And, of course, if you live in the hood, you are subject to the worst food. So we're dealing with scientists who foresaw this 100 years ago, and Griff can tell you about the plan that they laid out in order to effeminize our men and to turn our women against our men. And we're living it out right now in living color, 2014.
Do you watch reality TV, Sisters Azali?
Absolutely not.
Because I noticed, they got a lot of shows catered toward women. Housewives, a big, huge franchise, and I just.
Well, let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me say that I have seen when I've seen them. I don't watch them now. I don't really watch a lot of TV at all. But I have seen them. I've seen Scandal before. I know that there's a homosexual couple that adopted a black baby, and none of these sisters talking about that. I've seen Real Housewives of Atlanta, Basketball Wives. So I've seen the shows before. So I kind of know what it's all about.
Do you feel sorry for Mimi Faust, the sister in the sex tape? Is it? Should we feel sorry for her, or is it? She knows damn well what she's doing. She's a grown woman, and she should be ashamed of herself type mentality.
It's both. All of our people are living in the hells of North America. So we have to have compassion for the condition that we're in and the behavior that we exhibit. It's just like, the rappers who put all of this nonsense in their music and are lending to the destruction of our people. They're victims of a higher plan. So there has to be some level of empathy. I don't feel sorry for her, but I do have empathy for her condition because, you know, the SHIT is going to hit the fan sooner or later, and she's going to have to deal with that self-accusing spirit, and she's going to have to look herself in the mirror and take responsibility for her actions. But at the same time, accountability is the first thing at hand right now that we have to deal with, just like Jay-Z, just like Al Sharpton, just like Kobe Bryant, just like all of us who walk past our people suffering every day and don't do or say anything about it. I mean, you know, there has to be some level of accountability, and we have to be vocal about what's happening because young sisters, I can only imagine, I have a 15-year-old niece, and, you know, that there's a level of dysfunction in that. But I came in my sister's house one day and saw her and my 13-year-old niece watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. And, of course, I said, you know, my piece, but I'm only there every now and then. There's young sisters who are watching this and thinking that the role of a woman is to be sexy, to have nice clothes, to find a good man with money, and to be sexually powerful in order to get where you want to go in life. Completely missing the point, and it's creating a generation of empty shells of women who are unhappy and who hate themselves. I see it every day.
Just to get back to the reality TV segment for a second, we was touching on. I just got about two more questions. We was talking about, you know, the whole sex tape thing, Love and Hip Hop, I think it's called. Why do you think people are so fascinated with drama? Now, I watch these shows occasionally, and I notice anytime I turn on the TV to watch it, a fight breaks out. And I'm saying to myself, damn, a fight don't break out that much in real life. I chill with people every day. It seems like every episode. And if I don't see it, you can read about it on the internet. You can read about it in social media. Somebody's posting a fight broke out with this person, a fight broke out with that person, fight broke out. Why does it seem that people are attracted to drama? What is it about drama? You know, even in the conscious circuit, you know, people like the debates, or they like drama. What is it about drama that people are drawn to?
Well, I think we need to understand the purpose of why and what's the underlying meaning to what the producers actually sit down and come to these people with. Of course, it's whispered in their ear that, you know, I'm going to secure my spot on this particular reality show. I'm going to make myself known. And I think the thing that they know in their heart of hearts, they know if they start the fight, if they fight somebody, sex with somebody, take somebody's man, all these particular things that they don't necessarily have to be told. I think it's whispered in their ear along the way. It's probably not written in the script to say, we need you to fight on this episode. I think a lot of times they instinctively know this. And then going back and watching the last episodes and watching other reality shows, they know this will get good ratings. But you don't think this kind of stuff, this kind of fighting and the thinking and the energy around it leads to creating the atmosphere that something like that may happen?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it said that life imitates art, or art imitates life, and this is very real. So what is the purpose of the reality show? Is the question we should be asking, Rich. You understand what I'm saying? If the reality show is supposed to reflect reality, as Black Dot says, are we keeping it REEL or REAL?
And I would say, you know, Elijah Muhammad taught us that 85% of the masses of people all across the world are living in a deaf, dumb, and blind existence, and they are not knowledgeable to the true knowledge of God as well as themselves. So the masses of people are miserable. They're unhappy in their lives. They're unhappy in their relationships. They're working jobs that are not fulfilling. They're getting up and running on a hamster's wheel every day, living a mundane life. It's monotonous. It's the same thing over and over and over. They are not able to fulfill their deepest desires and their inner goals, so they feed on other people's drama and misery.
Right.
Most people are especially Black women, and in his book Brainwash, Tom Burrell talks about the fact that they've done studies, and it's a science as far as the advertising is concerned. They know that a large majority of Black women are miserable and unhappy. So they place certain emotional foods in certain areas of the stores when you go grocery shopping. They place ads in Essence and Jet Magazine and Ebony that they wouldn't necessarily put in Vogue magazine. So they know that people are happy and living unfulfilled lives, and they capitalize on it.
So where did this myth even come from? The media. The media knows exactly where to find ignorant black people. They go to those places. They find the most ignorant black person they can find, stick a camera in their face, and they wait for the magic to unfold, and then they put it on the 6 o'clock evening news for the entire world to see how black people act. And then you have the whole music entertainment side of it, where you have your music videos and BET programming, your reality shows featuring black people who oftentimes kind of perpetuate these negative images. And the kids sit in front of the TV and they soak this stuff up, and they kind of take on what's being presented to them as black culture. And quite frankly, I refuse to buy that. A lot of what I see on TV it's not my culture. Part of my black culture is me being articulate and me having an education and me wanting more for my life. I think that is just as much a part of my black culture as my crazy natural hair. Ooh.
You've had a half a millennium of white supremacy, a half a millennium of slavery, and we still don't understand white supremacy. It's simple. White people will always be on the top, and black people will always be on the bottom, regardless of who we put out front. In Philadelphia, you have your third Negro mayor. But has it resulted in an increase in jobs for black men? No. Has it resulted in an improvement in schools? No. Has it resulted in an increase in contracts for the talented Tim who don't care about nobody but themselves anyway? No. Because Michael Nutter is the face on the white supremacy structure of Philadelphia. Like Obama will be nothing but the face on white supremacy of the country at large. We got to understand that the ascendancy of the black elected official has concurred with the decline of the black community where they rule. Look at black mayors and lieutenant governors and a few governors that you've had, and wherever they win, the black people do worse. Why? Because when you have a powerless black face, there can be no cry of racism. And when there can be no cry of racism, white people can operate freely behind that black shield. And so if Obama wins, you will see more police brutality. If Obama wins, you will see more black men in prison. If Obama wins, you will see more HIV victims. If Obama wins, you will see more black males in prison. Because whenever you have the black face, there is the illusion of Negro control. And whenever you have the illusion of Negro control, white folks are free to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Again, they know what they're doing. This is them going back to the Jim Crow era. You understand that, people? They're taking the game back to the Jim Crow era, where they would show the best images of whites and the absolute worst images of blacks. They would do that to, again, boost the self-esteem of the white population and diminish the self-esteem of the black population. That's the truth. See, people, black folks, you got to understand when you're being dissed.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? You already know who it is. It's your man Antmo right here. And I just want to break down how, like, ever since Barack Obama has become president, they've been shitting on black people in the media. See, that's the thing, you know. If you talk about racism, then they can say, oh, nobody's racism. You got a black president. So they using that black face to do what they want behind the scenes. It's like a puppet on a string, you know. The puppet is out front. The one who running shit is the one pulling the strings. Man, ever since he has become our president, things have gotten worse and worse. But it's your man Antmo the Dark Knight TV, holla at me.